It started at a bonfire party on a crisp October Friday night. The air smelled of burning leaves and cheap beer, and the crowd of teens gathered around the flames, sharing ghost stories to amp up the Halloween vibe. Sarah Klein, Jake's on-again, off-again girlfriend, leaned against him, her blonde ponytail swaying as she laughed. She was the smart one, editor of the school newspaper, always digging into old town legends. "You know what's really haunted?" she said, her eyes gleaming in the firelight. "The old high school. They say you can hear voices there, at night. The kids who died in the fire, calling out for help." The group fell silent for a moment, then erupted in nervous chuckles. Mike Torres, Jake's best friend and the team's running back, punched his arm. "Bullshit. It's just wind through the broken windows." "Oh yeah?" Sarah challenged. "Prove it. Spend the night there, alone." Jake's heart skipped. He wasn't one to back down from a dare, especially not in front of Sarah and the crew. "Fine," he said, forcing a cocky smile. "But not alone. You chickens coming with?" By midnight, the group had whittled down to 4. Jake, Sarah, Mike, and Emily Chen. The quiet artist who tagged along because she had a crush on Mike. They piled into Jake's beat-up Ford pickup, the engine rumbling as they drove past the dark fields toward the abandoned school. The moon hung low, casting eerie shadows over the structure. The building loomed like a giant tomb, its windows shattered eyes staring blankly into the night. It parked a block away to avoid any nosy cops and hopped the fence, flashlights cutting through the darkness. The front doors were boarded up, but a side entrance gaped open, vines crawling over the frame like fingers. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the faint scent of charred wood. Graffiti covered the walls, tags from kids who'd come before, hearts with initials, and warnings like "Get out," scrawled in red. "See? Nothing here," Mike said, his voice echoing down the empty hallway. But as they ventured deeper, past lockers rusted shut and classrooms with desks overturned, a chill settled in. Jake swore he heard a whisper, faint like a radio static, but when he turned, there was nothing. They set up camp in what used to be the gymnasium, the wooden floor warped from water damage. Sleeping bags unrolled, a few cans of soda, and a lantern in the center. Stories flowed, urban legends, personal fears. Sarah talked about the fire, how it started in the chemistry lab, how the students were trapped because the emergency exits were chained shut for security reasons. The principal back then, Mr. Hargrove, had resigned in shame, and some said he still lived in town, haunted by guilt. As the night wore on, the group dozed off one by one. Jake lay awake, staring at the rafters where banners once hung. That's when he heard it again, a voice, clear this time. "Help me." He sat up, heart pounding. "Did you guys hear that?" Sarah mumbled sleepily. "Hear what?" But it came again, from the hallway, a girl's voice, sobbing. "Please, it's burning." Jake grabbed his flashlight and stood. "I'm checking it out." "Don't be stupid," Mike groaned. "It's probably the wind." But Jake was already moving, drawn by curiosity and that nagging need to prove himself. The hallway stretched endlessly, doors creaking in the draft. The voice grew louder, leading him to the old library. Shelves collapsed in heaps of moldy books. In the corner, under a beam of moonlight, he saw her, a translucent figure of a girl in a 90s-style sweater, her face twisted in pain. The fire. It hurts. Jake stumbled back, his flashlight dropping. The girl vanished, but her scream echoed through the building, waking the others. That was the beginning. The voices weren't just echoes, they were alive, and they had stories to tell. A scream pierced the night, jolting Sarah, Mike, and Emily from their sleep. They rushed into the hallway, calling Jake's name. He was on the floor in the library, pale as a ghost, muttering about a girl. What the hell, man? Mike helped him up. You trying to scare us? It wasn't a prank, Jake insisted, his voice shaking. She was right there. Said something about the fire hurting. Emily, ever the skeptic, shone her light around. Probably your imagination. This place is creepy. But Sarah's journalist instincts kicked in. Let's look around. Maybe there's something here. They searched the library, finding old yearbooks from 2005, the year of the fire. A whisper filled the room, not one voice, but several, overlapping like a choir of the damned. He knew. He locked us in. The group froze. Emily whimpered, "Okay, that's not wind." They bolted back to the gym, but the voices followed, growing louder. Tell our story. Don't let him forget. By dawn, they were out of there, vowing never to return. But the voices didn't stay behind. That Monday at school, Jake heard them in his locker, faint murmurs during class. Sarah found notes in her backpack, scrawled messages like "justice" in childish handwriting. Mike dismissed it as a group hallucination. But Emily started drawing sketches of the girl Jake saw, her art taking a dark turn. Jake couldn't shake it. After football practice, he drove to the edge of town where Mr. Hargrove lived in a rundown trailer. The old man, now in his 70s, answered the door with bloodshot eyes. "What do you want, kid?" I was at the old school. Heard things. About the fire." Hargrove's face darkened. "Get out of here. That place is cursed." But as Jake turned to leave, the old man grabbed his arm. "They blame me, but it wasn't my fault. The doors. I didn't chain them. It was the janitor, but no one believed me." Jake pulled away, but the voices surged in his head. Liar. That night, the group reconvened at Sarah's house. Her parents were out, so they pored over online archives, old news articles, forums where survivors shared stories. One post from an anonymous user. "The voices started after I visited. They want the truth out." "We have to go back," Sarah said. "Figure out what really happened." Jake nodded, though fear gnawed at him. Yeah, for them. Approximately 1,500, expanding with more details and subplots. The second visit was planned like a mission. They brought recording equipment, Sarah's digital recorder, Emily's sketchpad, Mike's GoPro. It was a Wednesday night, the town quiet under a blanket of stars. Inside, the school felt different, alive. Dust motes danced in their flashlight beams, and the air hummed with anticipation. They headed straight to the library. Sarah set up the recorder. "If you're here, speak to us." Silence, then a crackle. A voice emerged. "Lisa, I'm Lisa. We were studying late. The fire started." Doors locked. The group exchanged glances. Jake asked, "Who locked them?" "Hargrove. He knew about the money. Stole from the fundraisers. Set the fire to destroy evidence." Emily sketched furiously, capturing Lisa's image as it flickered in the corner. But then more voices joined. Tommy's deep baritone. "I tried to break the window, but the bars." The twins in unison. "We screamed, but no one came." Alex, the smoke, it burned our lungs. The stories poured out hours of recordings. The kids had discovered Hargrove's theft, confronted him that night. He panicked, locked them in, and sparked the blaze. As the night deepened, the apparitions grew stronger. Tommy appeared near the gym, reliving his last moments, pounding on invisible doors. The twins giggled eerily in the cafeteria, then sobbed. Mike, the tough guy, broke first. "This is too much. Let's go." But a force sealed the exit, doors slamming shut, windows frosting over. "You're part of it now," Lisa's voice echoed. "Expose him or join us." Panic set in. They searched for another way out, navigating the basement where old boilers rusted. There, they found charred remnants, a keychain with Hargrove's initials, hidden evidence. Finally, at dawn, the doors unlocked. They escaped exhausted but determined. Back home, Sarah edited the recordings, planning a story for the school paper. But the voices didn't stop. They followed, whispering in dreams, urging action. Jake confronted Hargrove again, this time with the keychain. The old man confessed, tears streaming. "I didn't mean to kill them. It was an accident. The fire got out of control." But the voices screamed in Jake's head. "Liar, he planned it." Hargrove clutched his chest, collapsing. Heart attack or something more supernatural? With Hargrove dead, the town buzzed. Official cause? Natural. But the group knew better. Sarah's article hit the school paper, then went viral on social media. Haunted secrets of Milford High. Was it murder? Locals dismissed it as teen fiction, but some old-timers came forward. The janitor from back then, now retired, contacted Sarah. "Hargrove did chain those doors. I saw him, but he threatened my job." Evidence mounted. They dug into financial records at the town hall, discrepancies in the 2005 budget, missing funds traced to Hargrove's account. The voices guided them, whispering clues. Lisa led Jake to a hidden compartment in the principal's office, where singed ledgers proved the embezzlement. But not all was smooth. Mike started hearing voices too, accusing him of his own secrets, a steroid used to boost his performance. Cheater, like him. Emily's drawings came to life, figures stepping out of the paper in her nightmares. Sarah faced backlash, threats from Hargrove's family, calling her a liar. Jake's football suffered. Scouts backed off as he seemed distracted. Yet they pressed on, turning the school into a base. Nights there became routine, communicating with the spirits. One session, Tommy revealed, "There's more. A sixth student survived, but covered it up." Who? Digging revealed Katie Mills, now a teacher at the new high. She was there that night, escaped through a window, but stayed silent out of fear. Confronting her, she broke down. "Hargrove paid me to keep quiet. I was scared." The voices quieted slightly with each truth uncovered, but demanded justice, a public admission. As Halloween approached, the group fractured. Mike, tormented by the voices exposing his steroid use, lashed out. "This is your fault, Jake. The dare was stupid." Sarah and Jake grew closer, sharing kisses in the shadows of the old school, finding solace amid the horror. Emily, however, embraced the spirits, channeling them in her art. Her paintings sold at a local gallery, but she became withdrawn, eyes glazed. The voices evolved, not just victims, but others. Former students who died in accidents, suicides linked to bullying at the school. The building was a nexus, trapping souls with unfinished business. A storm hit Milford, lightning illuminating the school. The group sheltered there, but the voices swelled into a cacophony. Lisa appeared fully. "The anniversary is near. The fire's night. We need release." They planned a séance on the fire's date, November 5th. Inviting Katie, the janitor, and townsfolk skeptical but curious. But danger lurked. Hargrove's ghost joined the chorus, defiant. "You'll never prove it," he manifested, shoving Jake downstairs, breaking his arm. Hospitalized, Jake dreamed of the fire, feeling the heat, the smoke. Sarah visited, tears in her eyes. "We can't stop now." November 5th arrived, cold and rainy. The group, bandaged and weary, returned with allies, Katie, the janitor, Mr. Ellis, and a local historian. They set up in the chemistry lab, ground zero. Candles flickered, recorder rolling. "Spirits, speak," Sarah intoned. The voices erupted, accusations, confessions. Katie admitted publicly, recording it. "I saw Hargrove start the fire." Ellis corroborated. He locked them in. Hargrove's ghost appeared, raging, but the victim's spirit surrounded him, dragging him into light. A wind howled, papers flying, then silence. The voices faded, a final thank you. The group emerged to flashing lights, cops, alerted by the gathering. But with evidence, an investigation reopened. The old school was demolished months later, spirits at peace. Jake and Sarah graduated, bound for college together. Mike cleaned up, Emily's art flourished. But sometimes, in quiet moments, Jake heard a faint whisper, "Remember us." The end, or just the beginning of Milford's healing?